focus on hitting your goals in every area of your business. Remember, the universe rewards the bold. A leader has to take the risks.
Welcome to the Wealth on the Beach podcast with Daniel Alonzo. It is episode number 32. My name is Daniel Alonzo and I am your host. And we have interviewed some of the greatest people on the planet. And we got one of those people here with us today. We're talking the incredible Raul Villacis, actually. I'll make sure I get that right, Villacis. He's a family man, entrepreneur, investor, and mentor to fellow entrepreneurs, founder behind Next Level Experience, The Edge, a system designed to help successful entrepreneurs and CEOs find and achieve balance in their personal and professional lives. In addition to this, he's also a CEO. This guy's an incredible story, incredible leader. He's a CEO of a real estate company and a public speaker, as well as a writer. And so thank you for being with me today, man. I want to know, what is a gladiator and what does that mean to you?
Well, thank you for having me in your podcast, man. 30 episodes. I know that, we do podcasting too, and it's a commitment. It's a commitment to bring value. I know how hard it is to get people into the interview. So I want to commend you, brother, for doing this work. I appreciate you. So for me, a gladiator, man, it's a modern day entrepreneur. And if you look back in the Roman days, the gladiator is the one who comes into the arena and who's fighting for his life. And I believe that every single entrepreneur, that's what we're doing. We're fighting for our purpose. We're fighting for our mission. We're fighting for our vision. And every single day, if we don't give it everything we have, we might die, meaning we may be out of business. That's the reason that 9 out of 10 businesses fail, because they don't have that gladiator heart, that gladiator spirit. So for me, a gladiator is a modern day entrepreneur.
Love that. Love that. And so we're going to talk a lot about business today. I mean, obviously you've had extreme success, helped a lot of people, hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of people in your industry and all over the world now. Today, you're influencing so many people, but I want to know a little bit about your journey. Tell me about your childhood. Where'd you come from? What'd your parents do? What kind of kid were you?
Well, just recently, Entrepreneur Magazine did an article on me when I kind of shared my story. It was for the first time that my story has been shared publicly. Some of my guys who been through my programs, they know my story, and guys who hear me speak know my story. But for the first time, it was out in the public and it's out there. And I got to be honest, I was a little afraid. I was a little afraid because I guess we are afraid of judgment sometimes. As men, we don't want to be judged. But I realized that more and more people were impacted by my story than I thought. Because I came here to the United States when I was 11 years old. I'm an immigrant. My parents came to this country looking for a better life, looking for a better future. Unfortunately, I was separated from my parents when I was 80 years old because they came here first. And it was 3 years that I had to be here in order for us to get the paperwork and everything to come to this country. So when I came here 11 years old, man, it was a culture shock. Because you could imagine an immigrant coming into the country with no background and knowing how to speak English. I'm still learning how to speak English, as a matter of fact. But at the end of the day, all my life, at the beginning of my life, I wanted to fit in. I wanted to be like everyone else. And that's the part of the story, the journey, is that the moment that you start owning that you're different, that you're not like everyone else, because an entrepreneur is not like everyone else. The more I started seeing that my difference gave me the power, the insight that I had that I wasn't like everyone else gave me that edge that I needed to operate in my businesses and to be able to take life to a whole different level.
And so as far as, growing up as a kid, were you a good student? Were you a bad student? What kind of kid were you growing up?
Listen, I was a great student, man. I remember in 6th grade, I got straight A's. I learned how to memorize, certain words. Even though I didn't know how to speak English, I was passing the tests. But unfortunately, I was bullied. I was picked on because I was the immigrant kid in Connecticut. And in Connecticut, there's only like a handful of Latin kids. So I was picked on. I was bullied. So it didn't land it very good that I was a good student. So I had to pick up a little bit more of that other bad side of me, and I had to learn how to defend myself. I had to learn how to really survive. And I think that's what happened to me towards my middle school and junior year, is that I went in survival mode. I hung around with the wrong crowd and I was in the wrong places, and I actually graduated high school without putting any more effort. I mean, I told my parents just the other day, like, I hardly went to school. I was skipping constantly school because school wasn't, for me, important at that moment. But I was very good to the point that I was able to pass without failing or without getting held back. But definitely, I think that being in the survival mode affected me in my school years.
I can relate, Raul, a lot to your story because, I mean, not that I didn't come from a different country, but I really believe that when my parents got divorced, I was put in a different environment. We moved to a different school and put me in a whole different environment of new kids. I had a new stepdad. I had a lot of different stuff, and I was, kind of thrown in there, and I had to survive. Had to make a whole lot of new friends, and it was tough. I got in a lot of fights. I was bullied a ton. I'm not the biggest guy, but they always thought that they could take advantage of me. The good thing on my part is my grandfather was a professional boxer, and so I used to train at his house. And my father was a boxer as well, and so they taught me how to fight. So at least while I was being bullied, at least I was able to defend myself and protect myself. So did you ever get in fights growing up at all?
That's a cool thing. Like I never had to learn how to fight because that's when I learned my negotiation skills.
Okay, there you go.
I was always the guy that I will talk my way out of any situation. I remember one time there were like 30 guys who wanted to fight me, and it was just me and I think my friend Anthony. And we were against 30 guys, and I was still in that guy's face. I was talking shit, but I was negotiating my way out of it. And for God's miracle, they didn't beat us up. But it was always because I just used my words as my weapon, man.
Well, you're a family man now. I mean, you made it through the tough years, and you're a family man now. I know you got some kids and a wife, couple kids, a boy and a girl, right? Is that right?
Yeah, yeah. And I always tell my son, when I tell my son my stories of school and how, it was so hard for me to go to school because kids were looking to beat me up every single day in middle school. Mm-hmm. And I said, I'm blessed that he doesn't have that in school. But I said, at some point, there's the other side of my kids not experiencing adversity the way that I experience. So I always tell my son often that I want to be his bully. Like I'm his bully at home because I want to make sure that he knows that, in these doors, like I tell him, I said, we love you. Like you're the best kid. You're the best son. Outside these doors, the world, you need to bring value into the world in order for you to earn their respect. Because the moment that you bring value, you get yourself exposed because you're going to take from the world as opposed to give to the world. So I think by me being bullied actually gave me the tools necessary to just have the tough skin to be an entrepreneur. Because if I was able to survive school and all these challenges that I had, man, entrepreneurship is nothing because we could lose money, but at least we're alive.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We don't have to fight every day, and nobody's beating us up behind the school every day. So look, so how is your wife? I mean, how long have you guys been together, and how has she affected your business life?
I always tell her that she saw me as the person who I could become. She was the one who believed in me before I believed in myself. As a matter of fact, like she was way out of my league. I remember I saw her, I always joke around when I tell her this. I saw her in the club because we were hanging out in the club. I saw her in the club coming in. I said, that's going to be my wife. I want to marry that girl. But all of a sudden she comes in with my friend, and she's dating my friend. I'm dating her friend. So we couldn't do anything, but we actually developed a good friendship. And I knew that she was out of my league. I knew she had a bigger vision than I did. So after a couple of years of being friends, we got together. I broke up with my girlfriend. She broke up with my friend, and we got together and realized that we could, we were meant to be together.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. And so being a father and being a husband, do you ever feel guilty? Because I know you're a worker, man. I mean, you don't play around. I mean, you work. When you work, you work. You're focused. I know when you're with your family, you're with your family. But do you ever feel guilty working hard? Did you ever feel guilty working hard?
Yeah, at the beginning of my career, I started a real estate company. And in my 20s, when I was 21 years old, I opened up a real estate company. So from my 20s to my 30s, I was constantly putting work in first as I had to build the foundation. And I always had that guilt of like, shit, I should be at home, or every time I was at home, I should be in the office. And I had this pull and push and this guilt and this shame. But after I hit my 30s, I realized like, shit, like work is not everything. Like work is not everything. But then the market crashed and I lost millions of dollars. I realized like, shit, I have to make some money in order for me to provide for my family. After losing millions of dollars, I realized that I needed to find that integration. A lot of people talk about balance and have a balanced life. I realized that there is no balance. there has to be an integration. You have to actually bring in your family into what you love and integrate your family and be in your business the same way that you are in your family. So right now, I probably work harder than before, but I'm more fulfilled because I'm integrating my life as a whole. I'm not saying X amount of hours dedicated to the next level, X amount of hours dedicated to my family, X amount of hours dedicated to Raul. Every single day, Daniel, I'm putting everything I have on the table in every single area, in my body, in my connection with God, in my business, and my family. So that way I don't have to feel guilty anymore because every single day I'm treating like it was the last day. And that's what I teach. I teach men to integrate those parts of you that sometimes we feel like they need to be separate, integrate them as one.
And so one of the things I think is awesome that you've done is you've integrated your son into your life as well, into your business life, and maybe your daughter, but I've just seen you with your son, and you've introduced him to Gary Vee before, and he's building relationships with different people. Tell us a little is integrated in your life and in your business today.
So it started when he was 5 years old. I brought him to work at my office as a kind of like a thing for us to do at 5 years old. And he used to sit right there in the corner. And he used to watch Daddy do a couple of business deals. And then one day he asked me for a paycheck. He was like, "Dad, I want to get an allowance." I said, I don't believe in allowances. I said, "How about, you do some work?" So I gave him a couple of pieces of paper. I said, "Write a story down or write something down. And, I'll give you $5 for a story or give you $5 for work." So every single day I used to pay him $5. So after a year, he says, "Dad, I want to get paid more. What can I do to get paid more?" I said, "Well, video came out." I said, "Do some videos and I'll pay you more." So then he started to create content and putting videos out. So little by little, he became an entrepreneur by learning what I do. And now he's a vlogger. Now he's actually into Fortnite. He entered a competition. He wants to create his own professional team. He believes that putting content and bringing value is the way to go. So I'm just helping him see what he likes to do.
That's great. That's great. My son today is my editor. So he edits a lot of my stuff, and he helps me. He watches every single video and helps me cut, different pieces of the video that might be appealing to people, for people to watch. So it's awesome. I love working with my son. He actually sells our content at different big events and things like that. So he's a part of it. So is my daughter. So, let's talk about, look, we've all made our share of mistakes. We've made our share of, just bonehead moves, just stuff that we couldn't even control. We've all lost money. I've lost hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in different ventures through the years. And so tell us about 2008 and how it affected you in your mind mentally and how you overcame that, man.
Well, I thought I was indestructible, to be honest with you. I thought I was Superman, because everything I touched turned to gold, and I couldn't make a bad move, and people would throw money my way every single corner. So I think the mistake that I made is to start to believe that I was indestructible, to believe that the good times were going to last forever. And when the market crashed, I thought I was going to be the guy who's going to weather the storm. I thought that all these guys are going to fail, but not Raul. Raul is, is going to be able to make it through. But I didn't have enough perspective. I didn't have enough people in my corner who have been through it, have done that. And that was my Achilles heel. I didn't listen. I didn't have anybody that was give me some input based on where I was going. So that's what I believe I lost, because I needed to lose. Because if I would have continued to win, I probably wouldn't be able to do what I do now. I would have been a complete different lifestyle. And I think that it was a blessing that I lost in 2008, because it made me realize who I really am.
And were you angry? Were you mad? What was going on in your mind?
Of course, I was angry. I was depressed.
Was it scared maybe a little bit? Yeah.
I was depressed. I was angry, I was blaming, mainly I was blaming myself, because I should have known better. But the reality was that it was a blessing. It was a blessing. And once I realized that I had to get my shit together and realized that I have to find where the market was going, it took me 6 months to bounce back up. But those 6 months felt like 6 years.
Well, that's pretty good bounce back, man. So obviously that says something about you and your resilience and determination and courage and fight, man. So good for you on bouncing back and coming back, because there's a lot of people that still haven't come back since 2008. There's a lot of people that they got crushed, and they're still trying to get back to where they need to be. And so that says a lot about you. Hey, everybody, this is Wealth on the Beach podcast with Daniel Alonzo. Our special guest is Raul Villacis, and we're just so with him today. We're talking business, we're talking life. Hey, look, you're gonna make like $5 million this year, dude. Like what does that feel like? I mean, what does that feel like to have making millions of dollars a year? And sell us the dream a little bit. What does that dream look like for you?
I'll tell you right now, the moment that I started looking at my business as the value that I was bringing, the game changed. I started the Next Level Experience 2013. And the first year I lost almost $500,000 trying to figure the market out, trying to figure the message out. And I think I was going about it in a different way. First of all, I didn't believe in my product. Second of all, I didn't believe in my message. And third, I was trying to make a business out of it. And I think those three components are the formula for failure. Trying to force a message, trying to figure shit out. Then the next year, when I just let go of all the things that I had to do and just started creating my own message and just living congruent with what I was in alignment with, that's when the Edge program came about. It was out of me just putting up a video saying, hey man, I don't have my shit together. I didn't have my shit together. Here's what I found. Here's what I'm able to do. Here's what I'm able to discover, in my journey. And then if you feel in this way, click on this link. And then all of a sudden, like, that video went viral. I didn't know that there were more men out there stuck in what I call the tunnel. And the tunnel is the middle of what I call the rite of passage. A lot of people call this the midlife crisis, where men go from being a man to being a senior, right? A midlife crisis. But I realized that society has been looking at the midlife crisis wrong. There is no midlife crisis. There is a rite of passage. That's the moment that you stop being a boy and God is calling you, the universe is calling you for you to be a leader, for you to be a man. And of course, we want to continue to be what we call this warrior. We want to continue to live a certain way. But life is giving us and shaping us so we could go into this dark tunnel so we could see what we made of. And that's what I found I went through. I went through this dark tunnel in order for me to go to the other side and build a kingdom. So now men pay me so I could help them go through that tunnel. So the dark tunnel is a journey, is the rite of passage for every single man. You could go there with your blinders on, or you could go there knowing that you have a support system that's going to guide you through it. And that's where you're going to be able to find the edge. So men pay me hundreds of thousands of dollars for me to help them find that code to the edge that's going to help them go through that dark tunnel, because they know that they could make millions of dollars on the other side if they find the edge. Because no man pays me just because they want motivation. I mean, shit. I'm one of the highest paid coaches out there, and nobody is looking for motivation. They're looking for their own code, a custom approach to be their own man. So it feels amazing, Daniel, to be able to hear the stories of men telling me. I was just with a client in Florida. He's worth about $100 million. And he was telling me how his little girl whispered in his ear saying, Daddy, is that the man that saved your marriage? Is that the man that helped you fall back in love with mommy? And that was payment enough for me, brother. That was right there. That's why I do what I do. I want to keep men away from burning their business, burning their marriage, and burning their health to the ground, so they could see that there is no crisis of the midlife crisis. It's a gift. And the gift is that you're going to have to find who you are and what your purpose is. And that's the reason I do what I do.
And the men have to step up. I mean, it's time for them to step up. It's time for them to get off the dang video games at 40 years old and start stepping up and providing for their family and working hard and staying after it and getting focused and doing the things that they got to do and get refocused on what really matters. What is it that really matters? Do you kind of agree with that a little bit? I mean, is that some of the challenges that some of the men out there have?
There's a shift going on right now, Daniel, because like women, don't even know what the fuck they want. First of all,
Right.
they think that they want to control their man, but by controlling their man, they're emasculating their man. So therefore, you want your man to be on power, but in a way, you're taking away their balls. So then, how can you have a man that has the power if he has no fucking balls? So, and that's because society has sold us all this bag of goods, saying like, the woman, can't depend on a man. A woman can do, and I love women. I think women are the most powerful beings in the planet. But unless we help the men rise up to realize that they also have the power to be able to love a woman that's powerful, because that's what we see right here in relationships. You have a powerful alpha male with a woman that doesn't believe in herself, and that is the friction. And she takes the man cheating on her. He takes the man that's abusing her because she doesn't believe in herself. Now you flip that around. You have a woman that is very alpha and a man who doesn't step up his game, and that's the conflict. So it's time for us to start playing our roles of the man being the not necessarily the provider, but just the leader. And not just the leader saying, follow me, the leader saying, let's lead together. Let's lead together. Let's have a purpose. Everybody's talking about she's my better half or I'm the better half. There is no half. In marriage, you have to have two whole beings in order to become one. And all of us, we're thinking like she's my better half or I'm the better half. So no wonder we half-ass in marriage, we half-ass in our business, we half-ass in our life, because we're depending on other people to do what we came here to do, which is to lead.
And I think that's where the friction, where they don't know. I think that's why roles are so important. Because look, if my wife can't do what I do, I can't expect her to do that. But there's things that she does that I can't do. So we all have our roles. And unless we can define those roles, but I think sometimes in marriages, there's two people that are fighting to win. They're trying to win. They're trying to say, I'm better than this person, or I'm not, or actually what they're saying is they're saying, I'm not lesser than this other person. And instead of that, saying, why not, let's be the best that each one of us could be. Let's identify those roles. What am I great at? What is she great at? And let's go be great at those things. And let's combine those things. Let's fight to win for the family versus trying to win for ourselves. And I don't know. I don't know what you think about that or not.
The bottom line comes down to everybody's comfortable. The wife is comfortable to have a sedated man at home. The man is comfortable to have a sexless marriage. And there is no passion. There is no purpose. There is no growth. And because everybody from the outside looks at this as the perfect marriage, a perfect couple, but inside they're probably not having sex or not having conversations, but it's okay to pretend that everything is good. And I say that because I was there. I mean, that was my story. I'm not, telling you something that I haven't been through. Like my wife and I will look good together from the outside, but inside it was a fucking storm going on. And both of us didn't even want to dress. It'd be great if you actually have a storm and people are fighting and there is passion. But when there is no fighting and there is no passion, there's more of, okay, I don't give a shit. I'm just here to provide, or I'm just here because he's here. That's the danger part. And I think that's who we are in the society. And people who are married, they're living a comfortable life because they think that that's what married people are supposed to do. So now we go from marriage to entrepreneur, right? So what do men do? Men just focus on the entrepreneur side of their business, and they put all the energy and all the effort into the business, and they neglect their families, and then they end up having this amazing business, but no family life. And the kids don't even know who they are. And the wives are cheating on them, or they're already cheating on their wives. So like at the end of the day, it becomes a fucking storm that you created because you didn't learn how to integrate everything into one.
Right. Love that. Love that. So, look, I mean, I want to kind of shift gears a little bit as far as like, how has social media really affected your life, and how important is it that people start getting social media and understanding that it is the new wave? It's a new way of doing things. Number one, it is the future, whether we like it or not, but we're going to get left behind if we don't step up and start creating content and start creating this around our business, social media around our business, relevant in the next 5 to 10 years. Businesses are going to no longer be relevant in the next 5 to 10. What do you think about that? And how does social media play a role for you?
100%. I think that we are in the best opportunity right now that we're going to see in our lifetimes, meaning that right now is very inexpensive to put your business in the eyes of the people that are going to buy your product or service. If you're not putting, it's like imagine back in the days when TV started and they were actually saying, hey, you could have your own TV show, or you could have your own advertisement TV, and hey, it's going to cost you dollars instead of hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's the top. This is the new TV. This is the new radio. This is the new TV. And I know the fear that every single man is going through right now that's my age. I'm 42 years old. And I know 40s and 50s, we're like, I don't want to be in social media. I'm like between, because the fear that we have is that people are going to judge us. The fear that we have is people are going to find out the crazy shit that we did in the past. And the fear is that people are like, hey, Daniel, hey, Raul, I met you in college or in high school. Like, you were not this guy. And that's what we have to get over, the fact that nobody gives a shit about what you did in the past anymore, unless you're running for politics. Then that's a whole different story. But even that is working for the politicians. If you're a businessman, you need to start putting in your story so that way people could follow the journey. Because in the market that we're in right now, people buy from people that they believe in, meaning they believe in your struggle, they believe in your story, so they will buy your product, especially the new generation that's coming in. They want to know why they should buy from you. There's no longer big brands who are going to be selling their products. Is the story that's going to sell the products. So if you don't share your story, you're robbing somebody from knowing who you are. And I think that we're trying to portray this perfect image all the time, with perfect scenario all the time, and that's done. Like that no longer works anymore. People want to do business with human beings, not with robots anymore.
And there's so many human beings that now are building their own businesses. I mean, you can build a business by joining a company and being a part of another company. You can now be an independent contractor of companies. There's so many ways to build a business today. And so, but like my organization, we recruit about 300 people a month today. And so what happens is that, we're always bringing in these people that are completely fresh. They're completely new. They have no idea what's going on. And we have to take them and literally train them from the ground up to understand how to be a real business owner, how to be a leader, how to sell, how to overcome objections, how to influence others to their way of thinking. And so, so a question I had for you was, if I was a new recruit working with you, what are some of the tips that you would give me? And I'm just fresh, man. I'm fresh. I don't know anything about anything, man. I'm just trying to figure out business, figure out leadership, figure out my mind. What sort of tips would you give me? What would you tell me?
I'll tell you right now, how I started my real estate company. Okay, I was 21 years old. My mentor said, you want to learn how to sell real estate? I said, yes. He gave me the yellow pages and said, start with the S, because that's Sanchez, okay? You start by calling it Sanchez, all right? So every single day I made maybe 200-300 phone calls of looking up if people want to buy real estate, they want to invest in real estate. So now fast forward to today, I don't have to make those phone calls. I don't have to look at the yellow pages. There is LinkedIn, there is social media. All you have to do is put your message out there and test what people want. So I will not get attached to the product. Don't fall in love with your product. Fall in love with your customer. And start looking at what does my customer need. So I would say, do a quick video, a quick post that, hey, I'm starting on this new company. I'm getting feedback. Here's what I'm offering. What would it take for me? Don't try to sell people. Ask questions. What would it take for me to sell this or for you to buy this? If you're starting real estate, I will say, put a post that said, hey, I'm just getting into real estate and I'm just beginning. I'm looking for feedback of what are you looking for in an investor? What are you looking for in a contractor? What are you looking for? And just get feedback. And then take that feedback and then create your content based on that. And the next content piece will be like, hey, the 3 questions I got here from people that are looking for this product. They ask me this, and that. And let me answer this for you. And then you become the expert and you become part of the conversation. That's all social media is. Social media is a network of people that want to connect with one another using technology and the human touch. And I think that Bill Gates said, before Facebook, Bill Gates said, the company that uses technology with a human touch is going to run the internet. And then I think 5 years later after he said that, Facebook came out. And Facebook used technology to connect people is the human touch, because we're seeing each other, is more personal, but it's also using technology to leverage who sees it. So if you were a new recruit, I say start putting out content, post, and connecting with people, because that is the asset that you have, the connections, the network. So before you used to say that your network is your net worth, now that is more truth than ever. That is more truth than ever. Your network, who you could reach. I mean, look, we're talking here. We didn't meet, one-on-one. It was through social media that we met. And I can tell you, 100% of my clients have made millions of dollars, and they came 100% out of social media. Had it not been for social media, I would not been able to do what I do. I probably would continue to do real estate. But this medium has changed everything.
It's changed your life. It's changed my life in ways that I'll never really understand. I mean, most of the recruits that are coming in today are purely from social media relationships. And look, I mean, the truth is people don't answer their phones anymore. I mean, you call somebody on the telephone today, they don't answer. Yeah, you can get a text back, every once in a while, but people tend to find you when they're ready to find you. And what I love about it, at least for me, at least for my audience, a lot of my audience are, kind of going through some similar stuff that I went through. And what I love about it is the people that contact me, they're already interested already, because they've been researching me for months, and sometimes years. And when they call me up on the phone, they're like, hey man, I want to go into business with you. I like you. I know you. I mean, they feel like they know me. They send me a private message, and I actually answer my private messages back. I think people make a lot of mistakes where they do not answer messages back. They do not, there's not a two-way street. Yeah. And so I do kind of think that people, I mean, what are some of the mistakes that you're seeing business owners and business people out there make? Do you see some common problems that they're having?
Yeah, you make it about you. You think that it's more important to look good and to sound good than to bring the value to people. And actually, my team just called me out about a couple of weeks ago, because I started doing my selfie videos like 5 years ago. I didn't have a production team. I didn't have this whole studio. I just put out content stuff video. So they just called me out the other day, say, hey, Raul, what was the last time you put out a video? It's like, shit, probably about a year ago I didn't put out a video, because we have, like, I'm so accustomed to our production team just do a professional video that just this week I started putting out selfie videos again, because we can't forget the simplicity of this medium, that you don't have to have a whole production. I know a lot of people say, well, once I have the team that you have, Raul, I'll start putting in content. Once I have a podcast like you, Danielle, then I start putting in content. Once I have, no, that's fucking bullshit. Get over your fear. You have a phone, put out content. You have a video, put out content. That's all. So the mistake that I think people make is you make it too complicated and you get fancy. And I'm speaking from my own experience. The moment that I get fancy, I know, okay, I'm in trouble. I need to go back into the grind. I need to go back to making things simple, because that's the most engagement that I've had has been in my selfie videos again. Because even though I have professional videos, people still want that realness, that raw conversation.
It's crazy because, this morning I'm just, look, I'm 44 years old. I mean, this is a new thing for all of us. I mean, I've been doing social media for, 5-6 years now, but I really, in the last year, started figuring it out, because I think that a lot of people are doing it wrong, and they've been doing it wrong. The people that just, they screenshot somebody's post and then they put it on their own and try to make it their, I mean, like, you do that all day long. I mean, every now and then I like viral stuff I'll post on my feed, but come on. I mean, most of it's my original content. And so, but I think that, and I did that, by the way, my first 5 years on social media, that's all I did it was just quotes the entire time. It was quotes, and it was just taking stuff from other stuff that people had. And so I was doing it wrong. And there's so many people that are doing it wrong, Raul, because they're not connecting. People want to see in your life. So this morning I'm making my green drink, and so I'm actually filming it, and I'm just laughing in my mind going, this is what people want to see. They want to see me in my house drinking my green drink. They want to know what I eat. Number one, they want to know what I eat. They want to know what my kitchen looks like. They want to know where I live. They want to, And so, but it's weird. It's
Yeah.
still weird. But to me, I've always said, man, weird is rich and normal is poor.
It's funny you say that, because I had some friends when I started putting
What
stuff
do you think
on.
about that?
I said, it's funny that you said that, because I had some friends when I started putting content out. He was like, Raul, you know, you look crazy, right? I said, why? He's like, you talking to your phone and you know these things. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Now, 5 years later, they're hiring my
Yeah.
company so I could help
There you
them on
go.
social media. Because at the beginning,
I
you're gonna
love
look
it.
crazy, and everybody looks crazy when it's the beginning of the trend. But eventually, the crazy ones are the ones who change everything.
That's it, man. Hey, tell us about your boot camp, man. I want to know about your boot camp. If somebody was to go to your boot camp, man, and to have the experience, what do we get, man? Why should we go?
Well, first of all, I'm just amazed about how, like, I've done over 40 boot camps. And if you research or Google, the Next Level Experience Bootcamp, you're going to find nothing, because nobody has spilled the beans. Nobody has talked about it. It's kind of like nobody talks about what happens at the bootcamp, right? But what I tell you is a custom experience. The custom experience, like, we do the boot camps with the intention to give you a custom breakthrough. I love Tony Robbins. I love Grant Cardone. I love all these guys. But when you go to these events, you're one of 1,000. So it's easy to hide. In my boot camps, you can fucking hide. We have trainers, we have coaches, and we're watching every single move. So 3.5 days feels like 3.5 months. So 100% of the time when people leave my boot camp, it's like, this has been the best experience of my life. Why? Because we compound time and we give you the custom approach for you to have the breakthroughs that you need to find your own code. Because I believe that motivation is kind of like a shower. You get motivated and then you shower and it's done. But what we're doing is we're creating that code that's going to allow you to keep that fuel and turn what I call pain into power, because we all have pain. So I have a training that will teach you. It's kind of like reprogramming your mindset. And we have 7 items that you need to accomplish in the day to be able to win this game that we call the Edge 100 Challenge. So the bootcamp is just the product based on all the information that I'm gathering from my clients, and I'm giving the people a custom approach when they come to the event. So it's a custom approach.
So when they leave, basically what you're saying is when they leave, they have a solid understanding based on their own personal experiences, based on their own personal, personalities and styles, what they need to be doing to transform their life and take it to that next level. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, they have their own recipe. There will be no question like what they need to do. It's not like 100 strategies. It's a simple map that you're gonna have, and it's a custom map that you create, that we create together at the bootcamp, I should say.
Fantastic. Hey, Raul, man, this has been absolutely exciting and fun, and I know my audience, they're listening really, really closely right now, and I know some of them are probably thinking, man, I want to get in touch with this guy. I want to know him. I want to talk to him. He sounds like a really amazing guy, which I can see now you are. How do we connect, man? How do we get a hold of you?
Well, I have a podcast. It's called the Daily Edge Podcast. You could be easily found. We have over 400 episodes. I do a Daily Edge podcast every day, Daniel. It's like my 3-minute rant. It's like a fire rant every single day. It does a Daily Edge podcast. The nextlevelexperience.com is when you actually be able to watch some of the content that I have, and you'll be able to watch the videos. And if the video resonates with you, just follow the steps, apply for the program, and my team will get in touch with you to see if you're fit. And also, we have a YouTube channel, Raul Villacis YouTube channel. There's tons of content there. And I have my book coming up in the middle of May. So that's going to be coming up soon. So we have a lot of places where you could connect with us in social media, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. And I'm looking forward to connecting with more of your audience.
Well, I'm excited to be here with you today. I just want to let everybody know that, come on, man. I mean, it's not about you fitting in and by the way, we all had guilt. We all had shame. We all were scared, just like you are right now. There are a lot of you that are listening. You're scared. You're upset. You just went through some drama in your life. Maybe you lost a parent or a family member. Whatever it is in your life, there's a way out. You just got to get hooked up with the right people, get the right recipe, and drive yourself to that next level. You know, look, good things, they don't last forever. So you better get it while the getting's good. You better work your ass off right now, stay focused, do what you got to do, because we don't know that the good times, I mean, we've had the greatest bull market in the history of the world, and we don't know when this thing's gonna crash. It could crash any day. You know, rite of passage. You know, maybe it's not a midlife crisis. Maybe what you're going through right now is a rite of passage, and you better take the lessons learned and build on top of those lessons. And so, you know, fall in love with people. Social media is here to stay. You better believe that. Ask a lot of questions. And of course, you know, make sure that you're always staying plugged into the right mentors, the right leaders, and you're growing you. It's about you and growing you, because you can't do any good for anybody else if you're not the best version of you that you can possibly. I want to let everybody know this podcast. If I've done anything to help you guys in any way, please share this podcast with at least 3 people, and say something good about us. Go ahead and review it. Follow me on Instagram. Follow Raul on Instagram as well. We're still signing up people every single day for our Wealth on the Beach Club every Wednesday morning, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's me and you and a very small group of people, actually, that we talk about how to build massive passive residual income so that you can live the life that you've always wanted to live. And of course, check out our website, alonzoacademy.com, for more details. As always, check out my YouTube channel. Great free content there. Raul, again, I appreciate you. Wonderful to meet you. And I want to make sure that everybody remembers to dream bigger than ever, but make sure that you do it now.